Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Triforce Tax Podcast. This is episode 18. I'm your host, SpicyAppies, and I'm joined by my co-host, Jirachy,
Hello.
and Jirachy's roommate's cat.
There's yes, there's a cat currently on my lap. The tail is definitely, the tail's flicking into my camera right now.
We're also joined by our co-host, RamKev.
That's me. I'm RamKev.
Yeah. Hell yeah, you are. And today is going to be a pretty special episode. So we're recording this on the last day of the year. I don't know when we'll go live on YouTube and Spotify and stuff. Probably in a couple days, but it's December 31st, 2021. This year is over. I feel like it barely started, but this year a ton of stuff has happened TFT wise. We started off into set 4. We've had set 4.55, 5.56, a ton of stuff, a ton of new stuff in the scene, new people coming in. And there's a lot to talk about. But before we talk about the year, TFT in the year, we're going to talk about our weeks. And mine was good. Mine was good. I've just been enjoying TFT. I've just been streaming a ton, playing the game. Actually, unpopular opinion, I like the patch a lot. The Kaisa patch. So, next.
Nice. That is an unpopular opinion. My week, my day currently, there's a cat on my lap. Wait, can I boop there we go. For the audio only people, I'm panning my camera down to the cat. That's literally just
She's so cute.
She's the cutest. I've done a couple like streams and stuff like with her and just like cat cam only. But oh my god, my week has been this week has not been it whatsoever because I was sick on Saturday on Christmas and that turned into, oh god, I might have COVID. So I'm feeling a lot better. I somehow managed to snag a rapid test. That came back negative. I'm just waiting on a PCR now. I'm really hoping I don't have COVID. I'm omega upset though because because of fucking Omicron, I canceled going back to see my family for Christmas. And a shit ton of plans on for the last week because I was just like, oh, I'm not meeting up with people when I might have COVID. That's a bad idea. So
True.
I've just been stuck here and it's like not been it whatsoever. But I've actually been playing TFT and I'm finally like consistent challenger again. So
Woo!
Let's go.
Fucking finally.
Sheesh.
She just leaped off my lap. Anyway, yeah.
How you been doing, Kevin?
I've been good. I went to watch the new Spider-Man movie this week.
How was that?
That movie is, there's no better way to put it. It's the tits, as they would say. That movie is the tits.
I'm glad to hear it.
It's everything you could ask for, and then some. So go out, maybe not go out. Pirate it. No, actually, it's only in theaters, so you can't do that either.
I'm sure someone's recorded on their phone and put it online.
Yeah, that's the thing. it's phone recorded.
You know, I actually, for some reason, when Frozen came out, I like watched a phone recording of that. I don't know why I liked it so much. I watched a phone recording of that like 5 times in like 2 weeks.
Oh my god!
On the internet. I don't know why, but anyways.
Yeah.
Is that the last movie in the Spider-Man franchise?
Oh, I doubt it. They're definitely gonna. They can't.
Are they the last Tom Holland one?
The
or
financial incentive is too much. I don't think it's gonna be the last Tom Holland one. But who knows? I mean, he's young, right? He's just a small boy.
A young lad.
A young lad.
I thought I heard something about him saying it was the last one. But,
oh no!
There's no way.
No.
Spider-Man in general is just too much of a cash cow for Sony.
Yeah. I mean, it's Spider-Man. Spider-Man is so sick.
I mean, yeah, like for good reason. We love Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know where Spider-Man is not? TFT yet.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. We had auction and said 5.5.
We did have auction, and we can talk about auction a little bit today. Also, it's definitely auction, right?
Yeah, it's auction, but it's hard to say. So like,
it is hard to say. I remember getting I remember getting razzed about that. So how it's gonna go for anyone listening, for anyone watching? We're gonna go. There's a lot to talk about, obviously, so we're gonna try to keep it pretty centralized topic-wise. First thing we want to talk about is just sets in general. So set 4.5, 5.5, and now we're in set 6 have all partially at least been taking place in 2021. Obviously, end of set 6 or beginning of set 6 is in 2021, and the end of set 4, base set 4 is 2021. So the full sets that were in this year were 4.5, 5, and 5.5. And yeah, the first thing I want to talk about, what were our favorites?
I
Any
gotta
takers?
go with the end of set 4. My God, was that a set?
Base set 4?
Base set 4, Dusk Riven. They had the Dusk Bane reroll. They had Talon. They had Ash. They had that garbage unit Ari that we don't talk about.
Oh god.
Kane was in there. Set was in the mix. You had Ezreal. Everybody loves a little bit of Ezreal, the Dazzler Elderwood.
Oh yeah, Ezreal was so sick.
Ezreal.
I forgot he was taken out.
What a clean collection of units. Mwah. It's a masterpiece. Mwah.
Base set 4 was so good. I agree. I think out of everything so far, set 6 has been my favorite out of everything that's happened this year. But set 4 is definitely second. I'll talk about set 5.5 particularly later and why that is the worst set of TFT in history.
Set
But
wait,
really?
I don't think set 5.5 was that bad compared to set 5.
Set 5.5 was like the
or
end
no,
of set
5.5.
5.5.
I meant 5, not 5.5. I'm so sorry. I meant 5.
Yeah.
You gotta clarify here.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, my bad. Okay, someone's gonna click off the podcast right after I said that and be like, "This guy's opinion is fucking trash." Any set 5.5 sympathizers out there? I liked 5.5, at least compared to 5. Set 5 was the worst
It's a
TFT
hot
set of all
dumpster
time.
fire.
Yep.
Good God. Jesus.
Set 4 though was sick. I mean, it was the chosen mechanic. So anyone who doesn't know what the chosen mechanic was, just in case, someone just started playing TFT or whatever. Basically, there were 2-star units in your shop sometimes who would have like everyone would get guaranteed chosen by at some point in the game, and then the units would be 2-star from your shop. They'd cost more, and they'd also give you double of one of their synergies. So like sharpshooter Tristana, sharpshooter chosen Tristana would be like goes count as 2 sharpshooter. So
yeah, and sometimes you got some of the dream synergies with that. 9 warlords at level 8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, you could get some really cool chase traits.
Yeah,
because you didn't have to be because there were so many 9 pieces, but you didn't have to be level 9 for all of them, which is humongous.
Yeah,
obviously. I feel like Josh, did you one trick something in set 4? Am I crazy?
At some point, maybe I was a cat one trick. I don't remember much of set 4 because, like, I don't know. I didn't like it that much. I didn't like set 4 in general. I just hated the chosen mechanic.
Oh, I forgot Warwick was in set 4.
Oh yeah,
Warwick.
My only part of set 4 I think I liked was Warweek 2.0, not the first Warweek. Like, oh god. Let's not talk about Warweek 1.0, but like the second Warweek, that was the first time I hit like top 20 or something, because I was basically one-tricking that Warwick with the Runans instead of Shiv.
Yeah.
But like I just didn't like set 4. I don't know.
Man, I had Jin.
Jin? Oh, it did have a Jin. It had cool Jin.
It had good Jin.
It had cool Jin. I was
Jin.
Yeah, not fucking pea shooter, miss your whole team Jin. It was 4th shot gonna blow up like a carry.
Blow up
a tank
Jin. Boom.
Yeah. Thinking of Warwick might be my all-time. That's like set 4 Divine Warwick might be my all-time favorite unit. I was a huge Warwick one trick as well for a while. I don't know if anyone knows you guys knows Small, but I don't know if anyone listening knows Small. But he was a notorious Zed one trick in set
Yep.
4.
Yep.
D-Jan.
Yeah.
And we used to always like argue about who won the Zed Warwick matchup because I was a Warwick one trick. I would play Warwick literally. Like I get Runan's Deathblade in a Vayne 2, and I was like, oh, it's a first. It's a it's a first. I'm like 2-1. So I think that unit holds a place very near and dear to my heart, and I hope he gets reprinted at some point because new like set 6 Warwick is like it's like his little brother who just hasn't really come into his own yet.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
feel-
he's been like he's strong under certain situations. He's definitely
Yeah,
there.
not quite as satisfying, but
Yeah.
I think set 4 Warwick, once they got him balanced post the like Warwick bullshit, was he was a really good unit for the game. I really love having like a melee DPS carry in the
Mhm.
mix. Which is why kind of sad they got rid of Riven in set 4.5 as like a melee carry. But having
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Smooge, but
Riven
having
was like
it's such a different like playstyle and such a different set of itemization. But wait, they got rid of Warwick in set 4.5, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
they got rid
also,
of all of the hunters.
oh
They kept Jacob as an
yeah,
executioner, and then they replaced basically all the
Uh,
hunters with like Saya and
uh,
Kale.
Kale.
Which I
and
was
yeah,
very upset about.
and they put in Slayers. They put
Yeah.
in Olaf, which was
I-
its own balance nightmare.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like a meme where like I wanna like I wanna set 4. Like, you're talking to your mom and you're like I want to set 4 melee carry, and
Yeah.
then like you're like I want War, and then like you're like I want Warwick except for melee carry, and then like mom's like, we have Warwick at home, and it's just fucking Olaf.
It's
Yeah.
Olaf and Tryndamere.
Yeah.
I really miss like having Riven as a unit was also like so cool. You know, like
Mhm. I still have people in my games who they get like all defensive items and they're like, I guess I'm playing Riven this game.
yeah, it's like you get a Sunfire, you get a Bramble Vest, you can slam a decap on her, you can slam a blue buff on her, you can slam
Morello's
Spark on
Spartan.
her.
Yeah, I mean, even
And it's
Morello's
just like yeah, even Morello's was fine. It's like oh my god, what a great unit, and then they're like nope, you get
She
this
just
one for
tossed
half
her.
set. Here, have
We-
a
we-
Tryndamere roll up.
She was in the end of set 3.5 as well, and there was
Yeah,
that
yeah.
this
was,
is a little further back, but there was like a 8 Sork.
Yeah.
Riven
It was
build.
6
yeah.
Sword Riven.
Yeah.
One of the big 3 with Jinx plus Vayne. I remember seeing this like My Hero Academia meme where it was the big 3, but it was Jinx, Vayne, and Riven coming in.
But yeah, set 4 Riven was so sick. I miss I mean, especially towards the end. I didn't like Dusk. I didn't like playing Dusk because I was a Warwick person. I liked AD items. I liked not playing. I mean, you could play like Jhin with Dusk, right? People love Dusk spat Jhin.
Mhm.
But I rarely played it. My last game of the set, I played it and I was like, where was this the whole? Why is it not doing this the whole set? I had like the
it's
best
lit.
fucking Riven game. I was like,
So
oh my god, this was
lit.
so fun. Why was I forcing Warwick when I could have been playing Riven? And
But she does all those cool moves. You get
Oh,
up to
yeah.
the third ult and she like does the slice. Oh. And then you have
What?
Jhin like killing everything, or you might have like Dustbat Kane in the back. Oh
yeah,
I also miss Dust because there was such a like high skill expression comp.
yeah.
Because they're
that's
like
probably
there's
why I
so
didn't play it.
there's true there's so there like there were so many different like versions of Dusk, and like there was a ton of positioning skill in that comp too because of like Cassiopeia existing and like throwing in Aatrox or Sedge or whatever. Like there were also like Dusk Kane. There was a lot of variations, and I mean, well, Dusk is also the reason DQA first started popping off, so there's that. But,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's how we first like he first became like any kind of name was, oh, here's this Dusk one trick that hit rank 1. Like, okay.
Yeah,
But-
set 4 was. I mean, it was honestly we can just talk about the competitive side along the side of the sets because we're just I guess going chronologically at this point. But like set 4 competition wise was fucking crazy.
Yes.
Competitively there were so many up and comers. I thought Worlds was so fun. Worlds was so fun to watch.
Worlds was a blast.
I'm sure Kevin has some great memories.
Oh, what a crazy! Waking up at 5 a.m. Let's go, baby.
I feel set 4 was really the set for like all these new names to break out, which
Mhm.
is something that like I just set 5.5 has been my favorite set so far, actually.
That's
Amazingly.
fair.
But I think where set 5 lacked, the competitive format got expanded a lot, and I think it was definitely an improvement on set 4's competitive format, at least in NA. But like the name, there weren't really any new names coming up. There was like a couple, kind of like under the surface, like Appies, Melton Heart. Yeah. That's
Chicago.
like who really like established, no one really established themselves as a big name in set 5 compared to like set 4, where I feel like we had so many like new names come out.
Yeah, I feel like set 4. I think a lot of I for example started in 3.5, right? And I started in 3, like the end of 3, did well in 3.5, and then set 4 is when I started to feel like I could play the game, like I started to figure stuff out. Thinking back, I fucking sucked. I mean I I played Dusk and I would be like, I'm gonna put my cast in the back or not literally in the back, but like I didn't position her at all. It was fucking I like, looking back now, I was so bad, but I think a lot of people got interested in like 3.3, 3.5, and then like set 4 is where they started to pop off a bit. And then you have obviously people who popped off super hard, like unknown people, like DQA or I mean Kevin, just fucking going all the country mile,
It
which
was
was
fun.
sick.
Yeah. I actually won my first turn. I entered like my first tourney and won it in set 4, which was like a challenger series. And that was like at the very tail. It was like a year ago. It was the very
Mhm.
tail end of set 4. It's like the very last tourney that they had. And it was like when Ari and Hunters were meta.
Yeah.
And so I won that tourney. I played 2 comps. I played Enlightened Talon, which people thought was trash, and I played Warlords, which people thought was trash. And I took a big dookie all over everybody. It
Oh
was
yeah.
lit.
Yup.
That's why Talon. A lot of those units hold a very special place in my heart.
Oh,
But
same. Talon holds a very special place in my heart because that was the comp I one trick to top 5 for the first time.
yeah, Talon was that was a guy. Not Talon was a guy, and
He was a
Morgana was a
man.
girl.
A myth.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I mean, it was a Morgana comp. Let's be
yeah.
honest.
Morg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
Yup.
Morello.
Talon.
Morello's in a Talon.
No, my like I literally it was like second patch of 4.5 was my first time really hitting top 5, and I was like Talon wasn't getting played that much, and I was just one tricking that shit, and it was like Rod Start into Locket Slam into Find the Morello into whatever the fuck on Talon, and just bleed to a top 2 every single game.
Oh, to be honest, everything was basically Rod Start into Morello
Yeah.
Slam.
Yeah.
Every
Or
single comp. You can play Keepers, you can play,
yeah.
Hmm.
Slayers. You can
Also,
play-
like Locket Slam was so much better in set 4 as a
yeah.
whole.
Yeah.
I miss being able to fucking slam
I
Locket.
remember when Locket was a
I slammed it
real
once.
item.
I
Yeah.
know. Ugh.
I remember when Zeeks and Chalice were early game slams where you'd be like,
I
this
remember when they were buildable at all.
this one
Okay.
has quit.
I will say, I speaking of items, a lot of like you think about the items back then compared to them now, like people just built such different shit. Part of it is items have changed, right? Like Ludens, for example, was a thing. Like Arcane was Ludens, and it did this little. There was a comp called Vietnami. Uh,
Actually, it's cum shot koi fish.
Come shot koi
Jack
fish
Whitefish
Vietnamese.
Vietnami. Bubble Trouble was another version of it, but that one was just that was people who didn't play TFT and didn't,
That was the
that
like
was for the
that was
public.
the
The
toned
public.
down It's like
Yeah,
slash bros for bang bros.
yeah, yeah.
Like it's the tamed version. No, it's cum shot koi fish.
I haven't heard Quite
It
Fish in so
rolls off
long.
of the tongue so well, you know.
But so like what it used to do, right? It was like you'd cast a spell and like a little splash, that did like a fixed amount of damage. So you try to like the whole point of Vietnami or Come Shot Koi Fish or Bubble Trouble was to make your Nami cast a bunch and she bubbles and Ludens just kills everything. Essentially, you stun something and Ludens kills everything.
Yeah, and the thing
Um,
is, it was like basically it was a permacast. Uh,
mhm.
if anybody, there's a similar unit, Ziggs, in set 3.3,
Shaq
3.5.
and Kobe.
when he just perma ult and the unit that he hits can't play the game. That's the same exact thing. Like I beat a Riven 3 with Nami 3, just like put it right in front of the Riven, perma ulted it until it died. And
Oh my
then
god.
I loved that. Whenever I saw I think I forget which one was better. I think the mage one was better, right? It didn't. And both of them were playable.
Both
The
of them
mage
were good.
chosen.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the mage chosen was slightly better.
Yeah, whenever I saw that, I was like, "Oh shit, it's a free top two. It's three top 3 or 4." So
You
I
have
would
the
I would
ability
always
to
force it.
go.
I would have like bow and I would force it.
Although I feel like that was such an issue with set 4 in general. It's like, oh, you got this chosen, congrats. You can reroll the 1 cost, and that became much more of an issue in set 4.5.
Bonky Kong.
With the
Bonky
I think it might have been the first patch where the meta was just, oh, find the 1 cost chosen to reroll.
Oh no, that was set 4.5. That
Yeah.
was when it was
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
really,
Four-
really bad.
that was like the first. That wasn't the first patch, was it? It was
It was
what?
the
It was
second. I think it was either
second
the
patch.
first or
It was
second.
one of the early patches for sure.
There were essentially 2 types of comps that you could play that patch, and it was 1 cost reroll, and there were a lot of them. There were like a lot of 1 cost reroll, or you could play Katarina.
Yeah.
There we
Shout
go.
out to
Oh
that.
yeah.
Shout out to that Kyun clip where he's just like panning around the lobby and everyone has a rerollable 1 cost chosen except him, and he's just like, "Welp."
Oh right, 'cause it was Trist, Nidalee. What else was a reroll?
Nash,
Diana was
Trist, Nidalee,
insane.
Trist, Nidalee,
Yasuo.
Diana, Yasuo, Nasus,
Oh,
Wukong,
Oh yeah, it was.
Fiora. I guess not really, but
Fiora you had to play a very specific way.
yeah.
I loved
But
that. I loved that.
reroll Fiora was also definitely in there.
Yeah, it was playable. Yeah, we can just move on. I mean, set 4.5 as like I think it was fun, but when you look at it after 4, I feel like 4 was balanced so well around the chosen mechanic. Like they built it and with chosen in mind, right? And you get to 4.5. And I think one of the reasons why like 1 cost reroll was so good, besides the fact that the 1 cost was really good, is that you knew what items to build. Like you could just commit to like I think the thing is why set 4 chosen was so good is that items are very flexible. And then you get to 4.5, and if you don't have QSS in your KL, you're getting Aatrox pulled, Sejuani ulted, Azir turret, and not Azir, I guess, because he's in the back. But there was so much, unless you have like a Sen Azir, I don't know. But there was so much CC, and so much like Olaf needed Runads for the first couple patches because his DPS was kind of balanced around it because it procced his cleave and stuff. So like items were specific items were so mandatory for certain carries, and it felt real bad compared to set 4 where you could throw whatever the fuck you want in your Ashe, your Jhin, your Riven, and they'd pop off. And so when you have direction from a 1 cost so early, you're like, oh, playing Bonky Kong, RFC, fuck yeah.
Okay, my hot take about Bonky Kong was RFC was never good on him.
Yeah, I don't think it wasn't amazing.
It was.
I really like Deep Blade Hurricane.
My favorite, I think, was IE Runan's Titans was my go-to for him, because like Titans made him absolutely fucking unkillable.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there is a point. There is a certain point where you could probably slam any attacks.
Items
like,
on,
that's how broken Bonky Kong was at a certain point.
God.
Sorry, go ahead.
My favorite one of my, at least with me in like competitive in 4.5, like I have a very distinct memory of like win streak Bonky Kong to like a second in my first real tournament, which was the last Challenger series. Actually, I went back to the VOD just out of curiosity, and I realized like how many names from that tourney are like still around and huge, because like that was Ramblin' and Pocky and Kurum were all in that Challenger series with me, and I'm like sitting here playing against them for the first time, like, okay. But God, I do genuinely miss Bonky Kong so much.
a lot of memorable comps, a lot of great comps, except for Nidalee reroll. Fuck Nidalee reroll.
Yeah, Nidalee reroll was fucking degenerate.
Yeah.
She would just one shot your whole team. Like she could ult someone right in front of her, and then it would one shot them, then bounce to the back line and one shot the carry.
So at the start of 4.5, before any of the one cost thing became meta, I actually wrote a guide on Reddit as how to play a one cost reroll comp, and it was like a holistic type thing. And I was like, I'm telling you guys, at the start of 4.5, this is going to be very strong. And it was,
Hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
what a surprise. And there's this person there that was busting my balls because like I was still relying on set 4 knowledge, right? And I was like, based off of set 4, Nidalee is hot garbage. This unit, don't do it. Because back in set 4, she wasn't really great. And then she got pretty strong, and then she got really strong, and there's people who were like, yeah, you should play Nidalee carry. Like, I know I should play Nidalee carry now. I see everybody playing Nidalee carry. I can't tell the future 100% and know that this garbage unit from set 4 is going to be the most busted thing of all time in set 4.5. Yeah. All my homies
There were some...
Was there what else was super busted in 4.5? There had to have been more than just that.
I mean, I'm pretty sure every so I can list off all of I know set 4.5 off of like the back of my hand. All right, so we start off right. There's the relative the beginning of set flex period where you get to play whatever you want because nobody knows how to play the game, and then it went into the one cost reroll in Katarina, right? And after that, it was Slayers.
You know what I remember existed for the first week? ASOL.
Oh, there was that ASOL.
Oh, right. Yeah, I completely missed that. No, it wasn't ASOL. It wasn't ASOL.
It was Rakan. It was straight up Rakan.
Yeah.
One Rakan was the most disgusting thing you've ever seen in your life.
Oh, you find Sunfire Rakan 1? Congrats, you're fast 8.
Congratulations.
Everyone doesn't know what Rakan did. He was a 2-cost, and he would dash across the enemy's team. He was a protector as well, right? So you got a shield when he did it. Or he was he dashed across the people.
He was a keeper, so he gave shield to your team at the start of the fight, and his ability disarmed and gave him a shield.
Yeah, and he disarmed everyone he dashed through. And so you just like put Sunfire on him, he dashed through everyone over and over again. No one will be able to play the game. They just all sit there watching. Because like you wouldn't do a lot of damage, so they wouldn't get a lot of mana, but you burn them with Sunfire. And so they'd all just be dying to Sunfire as like you stall the fight. As well as Otherwise just had time to get stacks. And then if you ever put an RFC on him, so for some reason it was based on his attack range. So he would taunt and disarm literally an entire board. The game was unplayable without like a QSS in your carry.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
Good old Rakan. Yeah. I mean 4.5, I feel like because like the way that I thought about it when they went from 4 to 4.5, I saw the units that they were replacing things with. Like the first thing I saw, they were putting back Kale. And for those that don't know, I actually hate Kale. I hate 4-cost Kale. I think 4-cost Kale is the worst. There should not be a unit that can do AoE damage based off of her auto attacks just built into her ability. But I saw, because like the other thing is like, because just the concept of that, right? It's so strong, and it is strong because like all of the top players were abusing Kale. Like
DQA. DQA first was a Riven one trick, and then was a Kale one trick, and then went to Worlds.
Yeah, Socks won't mention it. He abused Kale. He abused Kale in like a a more nuanced way, a more like like he could play Kale in ways that other people couldn't play Kale in, but he was abusing Kale. Like, and there was an infographic. There was like a chart actually for the people that qualified for set 4.5, set 4 Worlds, right? And you can see the spread. And the most played for every single player from NA besides me was Kale. And it was not even close. It was like not even close. And I saw that shit, and I saw Kale was getting nerfed, and I was like, okay, I'm probably the only one out of these people that has a chance now, because Kale got nerfed, and I was like, oh no, it's due.
So 4.5 was the first. I didn't like it that much, but it was the first set that I hit top 10 in, and I definitely abused Kale together. I was like, I was kind of the same thing that you're saying Sox did, where like I wasn't just like Kale every game, and I wasn't just like, yeah, I was just hard forcing Kale, but every game I just happened to end up in like a chosen or something, and then put whatever items on her, and my board was strong enough to. But yeah, I have very fond memories of of just like playing maybe like 6 or 7 Kale games in a row and getting to top 10. And I was like, how did that happen? Because I didn't want to play Kale in any of them.
Oh man, good old Kale. I'm
Yeah.
glad he's gone. The worst part is they replaced her with an even worse Kale in set 5. I was like, oh my god! What? Somebody over at the Riot, somebody over on the TFT team just has this massive hard on for this Kale unit. I was like, oh god, not again. And I will say they somehow managed to make her worse. They did manage to make her worse.
Your cost 1 more gold and make her worse.
Just like as a concept. Oh god.
Your carry doesn't exist until 20 seconds go by. Have
Yep.
Oh, no.
So what we can do. Let's talk about set 5 then for a little bit, and we'll come back to worlds and stuff in set 4. I think what we'll do is we'll talk about set 5, talk about set 5.5, talk about set 6 a little bit, and then we'll go through and talk about we'll talk about worlds and like the competitive circuit for the most part of everything. But yeah, Kale was so anyone that didn't know what Kale did in set 5. So first off, set 5 was looking good at first. It started off, it was looking okay. Shadow items were interesting. Armories were added, which are really cool. They're not really in the game anymore.
I fucking wish they were in the game still so bad.
Yeah.
So one good thing that came out of set 5, actually there were 2 good things. There were 2 good things that came out of set 5. 2.5 good things actually.
2.5?
2.5.
Yeah, 2.5 good things. Armories was one of them.
Yes, I totally agree.
Yep.
So it came out on PvE. It was super fun. It was looking good. No Chosen felt great. I think after 4 points, for me personally, I was like, I'm so done with Chosen. I wanted. I've talked about Chosen with Jirachy and RamKev a bit on.
You know
I won't
what
get
else?
into it.
What else was a breath of fresh air that didn't have fucking lucky lanterns?
Yeah, fuck Chosen, fuck Lucky Lanterns.
Fuck Lucky
Yeah, fuck both of those.
Fuck loaded dice. No lucky lanterns and no loaded dice. Thank God.
I think dice in its current state is actually balanced, where it's not like everyone gets one, and if you want a dice, and same thing with like taking dice from Armory in set 5. If you wanted that dice and that randomness, you had to opt into it and sacrifice something else to get it. However, in set 4.5 with the Lucky Lantern, so everyone gets a dice.
And
half the lobby high rolls a 3-star 4 cost out of it, and you dice and just get an armory full of, or get a shop full of 2 costs. Oh, yeah, I'm fucked.
Suffice it to say that going into set 5, some of the best parts of it were just that some things were missing from set 4.5. So, PvE was fun. There were a couple broken things in PvE. Zyra
was so broken.
Yeah, I mean there were a lot of broken things. It was fun.
Oh, anybody remember in PvE?
Abomination Zoo.
Yeah.
ZZ Rod Abomination. Also Vel'Koz. Also how absurdly broken Vel'Koz was at some point.
He was kind of broken the whole set, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
No, there was like a little point where
there was not a point where Vel'Koz was not the most busted monkey.
No, like beyond anything that happened in set 5 and 5.5. Like RamKev, you remember the Mod Royale tourney you did?
Oh yeah. Did we ban ZZ Rod A-Bomb? We banned ZZ Rod.
I think we banned ZZ Rod A-Bomb and we soft banned Vel'Koz.
Yeah, like soft banned Vel'Koz or something.
If someone plays Vel'Koz, you just give him like a tap on the wrist.
Pretty much. I played Vel'Koz 1 game. I watch this clip back sometimes randomly, but I have a clip of a Vel'Koz literally 1v9 wiping out an entire board.
That's what he did that
unit.
The entire set.
Everyone was focusing him, and he just wiped out everything anyway.
Vel'Koz.
No sustain on him. Just did that much fucking damage. It was not balanced in any shape or form.
And I think that's a great way to summarize set 5. It was not balanced in any way, shape, or form. So set 5,
complete shit show.
I think it was looking. it was looking like it was gonna be a great competitive set for TFT, right? The everyone's hopes are high. We're all high on hopium, and the set starts, and it's looking good. It's looking good, and then all of a sudden, these LeBlancs start popping.
All this random garbage.
These
starts coming out of
shadow
the
blue
woodwork.
buff. So the set mechanic, by the way, so Chosen was set 4 and 4.5. Set 5 and 5.5 was shadow item. Or well, set 5 was shadow items. Set 5.5 was radiant items. But so shadow items, you could get them off carousels and in armories, and they made alternatives. Like they made basically a shadow version of an item that had better effects, but also generally had drawbacks. Right. So shadow blue buff, it gave you.
Mana.
Yeah, it gave you
Below
50.
50% health. It only
Yeah.
gives you 10 above.
Yeah, so it was worse than blue buff above when you're healthy, better than blue buff when you're below. So people would do this is the Blanc unit, right? She was a Sin. And what they do is they put Shadow, blue buff, GA, and IE on a LeBlanc. You didn't even need the IE. Shadow, blue buff, and GA, you're fine. And so she sent out 2 chains and she'd stun people. And it would also do a shit ton of damage. And she wasn't mana locked. So what that means is that she could keep casting endlessly while the chains are out. So what you do is you put Shadow Blue, GA, and a LeBlanc. And LeBlanc too would just win games sometimes because she'd jump back, she'd get below half, and literally just like fucking Ghost Rider or something. These chains are flying out everywhere, one-shotting everything, stunning, locking it. Like because once you got hit by a chain, you talked about V where you couldn't move. Like she could have beaten Riven 3 on her day off. That shit was so fucking broken.
You cannot beat LeBlanc in a 2v1 without a QSS.
Yeah.
And there was one unit that used QSS that patch. And it was
Mordekaiser.
Mordekaiser, who was also beyond
so broken.
It was
God.
just, like
Open
patch
fort
after
into
patch.
3-5, roll for 6 Legion, Mordekaiser 1. Oh, congrats, you're top 4.
Patch after patch after patch, they just had shit like this, you know?
So if you just started TFT and you're like, oh man, set 6 is so unbalanced. What the hell? They're like Kaisa is a little bit too strong. What the hell? And then like I'm just gonna say the set is so balanced right now. And if you compare it to something like set 5, where it's just these big ass Mordekaisers and these stupid little LeBlancs, and then later on you have Shadow Blue buff for eyes. And just be aware.
Bane 1. One cost.
It was
1 cost unit winning lobbies, not upgraded.
Vayne 1, itemized Vayne 1 would win lobbies in set 5.
Oh, you have Runans and a Shadow Zeeks? Congrats! You're top 4.
Yeah, baby.
God, there are multiple screenshots of LOL chess games where it's top 4 is all Vayne 2 and bot 4 is all not Vayne.
Yeah. 6 forgot. So we had the LeBlanc patches. They refused. So the big, I think, driving force behind this was that Mortdog went on vacation for 2 weeks, for a little bit. And I think the joke was that they had the janitor doing the balancing because the shit was
the janitor.
Garbage.
He has feelings.
Wait, okay. Ken's awesome. That was the joke that was going around. Obviously, it wasn't true. They were doing their best. But it was one balancing issue after another. If one thing got nerfed, one thing got too strong, right? So there was like the LeBlanc patch. There was Mordekaiser being broken. Yeah, and then you had I'm gonna say it. This was I'm gonna say it. I don't care that you broke your elbow. I have to say that every time I say that. But that line's too funny, or that TikTok or whatever. You ever seen that one where the kid's like someone there's like a bully in a cast and the kid's like, I'm gonna say it. I don't care that you broke your elbow, and they all start laughing at him.
I'm on the gay unhinged side of TikTok, so I've never seen that.
I have actually never seen TikTok.
Ever. I think it might actually be a Vine, to be honest, like an old Vine. But regardless, so if that there was this patch, the worst patch of all time, the worst couple patches of all time, were the Forgotten patches, in my opinion, in set 5. I have never been closer to quitting the game. It's the only time I've actually been close to quitting the game. I literally couldn't play it. It was so what would you do is half the lobby would get like a Vayne 1 at 1-2 or 1-3 and be like, it's a Forgotten game. And so they wouldn't play a board. They'd just play Vayne. They'd play Hecarim Stations if they got it. Yeah, they'd open for it. They'd take any Forgotten unit from their shop. They'd take any Shadow items off carousel, because how Forgotten scale is that the more Shadow items you had, the more damage you did, essentially, up to a certain degree. So you take Shadow items off carousels. You just be stacking these forgotten units. You'd open for it, and then on 3-2, you level to 6 and you fucking sent it. You sent it. You got 6 forgotten because all of them were low cost units. There were 3 costs, 2 costs, 1 cost.
Yeah,
You get 6 forgotten.
Was a 3 cost, and that was
Yeah. Yeah, you get 6 forgotten. It doesn't matter what your items are as long as you have like a Runaan's on your vein. To win lobbies, you needed a Shadow Blue buff on your Rise because he was very similar to LeBlanc that he would permastun an entire team. But and then also all of a sudden you'd be sitting there chilling on stage. You're like, oh man, I'm win streaking. Oh man, this feels good. Like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, I'm gonna win this game.
No upgraded. Fucking
and then like
and stage
like,
3
hits.
Not unlike Katarina like 2 patches ago. Like, oh, I'm one streaking stage 2. Okay, I'm having such a good time. Oh, stage 3 hits, and now I can't play the game anymore.
Yeah, like scary music starts playing, right? Like bum bum bum, and then all of a sudden, like 4 people pop up with all 6 2-star forgotten units on their board, and you're like,
shit.
I lost.
They have a shadow locket, so you can't kill anything. They have
Oh my god!
You also had a ton of carry options because like Vayne, like Katarina wasn't bad at some point. If you hit a Draven on 3-2, congrats. Depending on your items,
you got a 4 gold Vayne.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go. Draven was good though.
And
yeah, it was.
You had all this other. You had vertical traits. Everybody remember the vertical trait patch?
Oh god.
Yeah. Redeemed 9.
Play the blue
Not
units,
really. Redeemed 6.
The yellow units or the green units. Or if you're feeling spicy, you can play the red units. That was the Yasuo comp, by the way.
Oh yeah.
What were the red units?
I was the Nightbringers.
Oh yeah.
I was a Yasuo one trick for a while.
They were all red.
Or is that 5? Yeah. So yeah, you basically how's that 5 work? It's like one of those baby things. You pick a color and then pick a color. You force a six synergy of that. You also you didn't necessarily need 6, but it was red Nightbringer, blue Dawnbringer, yellow redeemed, green forgotten.
So pride flag set.
Yeah.
And the worst part about that, you could not. The worst part about all of those like patches actually is like you cannot pivot. There's no such thing as pivoting. Like 2 cost reroll, you cannot pivot. Forgotten, you cannot pivot. Verticals, good luck trying to find an upgraded fucking Gragas at level 8.
Yeah, right. You gotta keep
that fucker until the end of the game.
Yeah. You had to play your game entirely around what you 2-star on stage. Like you get a 2-star Leon, you're like, yellow. This seems yellow.
Yellow.
No. It's like you get like a Lux dropped off of creep rounds, and you're like, oh yeah, baby. I know what I'm playing.
Shout out to the fucking Lux build of the Lux version of Redeemed. Yeah. The fucking Shojin Rageblade Archangels. Just nothing died.
Oh god.
I know we're gonna talk about competitive a little bit later, but I need to say that I played 2 tournaments in set 5, and I did pretty poorly in both of them. One of them was on the Vayne patch. The other one, there were just people forcing Lux every single game. It was the green patch and the yellow patch, and all I played were red units.
Oh god.
So yeah, I those 2 patches were probably the least fun for me in like TFT history, and I could not. And I played 2 of the most important tournaments in set 5 on them. I was so mad. I was so fucking mad.
It's just like, God, man. You know what the worst part is? In Nightbringer, was that the second one?
Yeah.
I actually abused Lux second day. Got the freest first of all time in my lobby. And then second day, I was like, I felt kind of bad playing Lux. I'm not going to play any Lux today. And then I got slapped for not playing Lux. And then I was like, oh, fuck. I made a mistake. Somebody bring her back.
See, that I was trying to abuse Lux for like all of Nightbringer, and the funny thing is I remember the last day I was like, okay, Lux has been working. Let's just slam Lux every game. I didn't play Lux until my last game when I was guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I lost to an Ivern 3.
Yeah. Oh, God. Set 5
I will say. Yeah, no, it will not. It was definitively the worst set of TFT. I've only played 3, through 3 up, but I would imagine it is the definitive worst set of all time in TFT. I mean, I don't. Josh, have you played every set? I know Kevin has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did.
Would you say that set 5 was the worst set of all time?
Yeah, I'd agree.
I have an undying hatred for that set. But there were 2 shining stars in set 5. We
Warwick.
can go into them. The first one is Warwick. So if you guys don't know,
Sexy music starts playing in the background.
back in
Warwick.
set 5, all right, Archangels did not do what it currently does. AP scaled off of each cast, and it was based off of your mana cost, right? And there was also another Archangels, the Shadow one, that increased your health pool. It was like Archangels, but for health instead of AP, right? So, there were some builds going around. There was the Covern build. You slam
That was so fun.
Archangels on on your boy Ivern.
Actually, never played that comp.
People. It was fun. It was bad though.
Yeah, and then every 10 times you played it, your Ivern would just kill fucking everything.
Yeah, he would just scale up. He'd have 10k health, 10 plus K health, and just whack everybody.
Yeah.
But my go-to for that item was Warwick. So if you guys don't know what Warwick did in set 5, this is why I'm very upset with set 5.5. Also, they took out, they left in some hot garbage. They gave us some hot garbage. They kept Kale
left Udyr in.
Okay, we did that was completely they did the right thing with that, but they took out Warwick again. And then what this unit did is, when he ulted, he would go to the lowest health unit. He'd chew on, he'd gnaw and slash them a little bit, and if they died, he'd get a reset. Right? He'd get a reset.
Heal as well.
He'd heal. He'd jump to the next one, and he'd just keep on doing this until one unit lives long enough where he doesn't
do it again.
Them, right? So here's the thing: if you have 3 tier items on Warwick, he insta ults. And the other thing is, if you have an Archangels on Warwick and he gets that reset, it procs again. So you get to stack the AP. So if you had 3 Archangels on a Warwick, what this guy does, he ults at the very start of the fight. He goes to the lowest health unit on the board, which is usually a backline unit. He jumps to the backline, kills it immediately, gets an instant reset, kills the entire backline immediately, and keeps on resetting until the entire board is dead.
What is it? Kevin's hyping this shit up. It wasn't that good, but it was really it was okay. It was good. It was good, but it wasn't like
it was the coolest shit. Even if it wasn't,
it was the coolest shit.
And I'm really sad. I only figured out the optimal build at the end. It was like I played a lot of
what was it?
Coven. I played a lot of Coven Warwick, which is sort of you kind of
think it's kind of like Socialite, and then you power up one unit.
You would just play Forgotten with it. You just 6 Forgotten, but with Warwick carry, and it was the craziest thing.
The 5-head set 5 move. What if instead of playing horizontally, I played vertically?
Oh my god!
Imagine.
There was some. Oh yeah. There are also some other cool comps though, Bulldozer. Really fun interaction with Varus.
That was Space Set 5.
Yes.
There was
Varus's gold. It was Panty's Golden Shower. That was the
Golden Shower.
I remember Java Day was getting super popular because he was so good at the comp. He just played every game.
There was another sleeper comp, double shadow Ionic Spark Trundle carry. So if people don't know what Trundle did, he stole stats, right?
Mm-hmm.
From you boys. I don't even. Shadow Spark was basically it gave you damage, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact mechanic.
I think it might have given you AP.
Yeah, it gave you AP like a lot.
But it also hurts your. Wait, no, it was. It wasn't the damage was just a lot more, and then it also hurt the downside was that it hurt your allies as well for a small port. It was 200% of the mana.
It was I think it was enemies in a 2-hex and allies in a 1-hex radius would get zapped every time they cast, and that zap would stack your AP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, that was the thing. And so we could even play it back by the brand.
Yeah.
Or
So you
Yeah,
stack
Relived
AP
Brand.
with that item, right? But what Trundle would do, because he stole stats and it was based off of his AP value, he would steal a unit stats, and if it was a beefy boy, your boy Trundle would get so much health that his health bar would turn black. And this is one of the great things about TFT. That when you get a unit with enough health, the health bar turns black. Sometimes you'll see it with Cho'Gath nowadays, but
That's crazy that
the tunnel will go boom, and you'll be like, "Holy shit!"
you'll sometimes see it with Cho'Gath now, and Cho'Gath is literally like meant to, but this fucking 2 cost could just get there. There's a famous clip of
I know
think
what you're gonna
was
talk about.
it kiting?
Kiting, yeah.
Trundle, his Trundle won, or I think he was it was his turn, right? He wasn't on the receiving end. He was on the receiving end.
He was on the receiving end. He had like Zyra
Zyra 3.
It was like
Yeah,
Zyra 3, and it was 2 3-stars getting soloed by a Trundle 1.
Yeah, there's Trundle 1 with like 2 HP. Fucking, he ults one of them, and he gets so much HP and AD that he just whacks them both to death when they're full HP. It was, yeah, he was the most broken thing in the set. For a while. Obviously, like, there were, for that patch, yeah. I say that, but there were like every other week there was just the most broken thing in the set.
You know what I fucking forgot about? The 4-1-4 cost lottery.
Oh yeah, that one too. Oh,
Oh,
god, there were just some real. We could actually make an entire episode.
Oh, but yeah. There's so much we can go on. You know, the other good thing for me besides armories that came out set 5 was Horsey. The first iteration of Horsey.
Brand reroll.
Oh, and Beppo also popped off with that.
Beppo didn't pop off.
MF version.
Beppo popped off in the set 5.5 version.
5.5 version. I forgot that. Yeah, you re-rolled the Spellweaver version.
Yo, that was like that was my go-to shit for.
That was your jam.
Set 5. Yeah. It was Hecarim. Fuck. What else?
It was Hecarim.
It was Sedge. I think it was Hecarim, Sedge. Brand Victor. Because Victor
Nautilus.
Nautilus.
Yeah.
Nautilus wasn't until
Nautilus Rel, right? You played Thresh Knot. I thought you played Thresh Knot and then you hit Rel.
Wait, it was Hecarim, Victor, Brand. Wasn't
Thresh Nautilus,
right?
Yeah.
And then you get Rel at 7.
Yeah.
And the Victor was the carry, right? Because she just shielded everything for infinite.
The first iteration it was Brand, and then the second one was Victor.
Yeah, because Victor ended up being like insane. I forgot that unit existed.
The first carry was really Hecarim.
Well, yeah, it was Hecarim Brand. Also, the
boy Hecarim was sick.
Shadow Titan's Shadow Ionic Hecarim plus a tank item was so fucking funny because it would just heal infinite, and then just one-shot units with the Shadow Titan's auto attack.
Yeah. The funny thing is that he was bugged. He was doing less. His damage wasn't scaling with AP.
Yeah, it wasn't scaling with AP.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only his healing was. Yeah, that was there were so many broken things.
There was so much shit.
Set. I remember that every time. This was.
Don't forget about A-Bomb. We don't.
Oh yeah, A-Bomb. That was in 5.5. That was there.
A-Bomb in general, right? I don't think was ever balanced.
You guys remember AD A-Bomb?
Yes.
Yup.
New Battle played that so much when he was.
Your boy A-Bomb would just walk into the back line and kill all your backline units because he goes through everything.
He went through everything. Yeah, and it'd be like, what was it, Rabadons, Runans,
Rabadons, Runans, Titans, or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Rabadons, Runans, Titans.
Later on, they're like, oh, he can't go through frontline anymore. I guess I'll build Last Whisper Hurricane instead.
And do the same shit. And then sometimes he just go through frontline anyways because you get a good angle. So, yeah, I feel like looking back at set 5, I want to talk about set 5 now as well, but looking back at set 5, it really was just like a balance. Every single patch, I was like, oh my god. I just want to play fucking Jax, man. I want to play a Jax 2. I hit a Jax 2 at 7. I should be strong. I hit a Jax 2. And this Vayne 1 motherfucker would just kill my Jax 2 with 3 items.
Yep.
on like a 30 gold less board. So that was the patch in a nutshell. It just balanced. 5.5 though, it was the saving grace of like set 5 overall. I would say. And we can talk about it kind of quickly because we do want to talk
Yeah.
about the competitive scene as well. But set 5.5, it went from I think the mechanic going from shadow item to radiant item was very thematic of the of like set 5 being the dark side and set 5.5 being the radiant Mortdog side of
And no
things.
more bullshit Shadow Blue. They could have taken the
They took it
entire
out.
set. They could have changed Shadow Blue any one of those patches.
They didn't.
Any one of those patches, they could have been like, you know what? This might be balanced, but this is definitely not fun to play against. Any one of those patches, they could have been like, we're gonna change this. Nope. They decided we'll keep this in the game. We'll just
Yeah.
nerf the units instead.
Okay, Shadow Blue Buff LeBlanc and Rise are both balanced. What's the problem here? Let's
they
nerf
said the
LeBlanc
unit was
and
wrong.
Rise. That's the
Yeah,
issue.
the units were bad, not the item. The units were the problem, not the item. But anyways, turned into Radiant Blue, and Radiant Blue sucked ass for most of the set. So
Yeah!
let's fucking go! Yeah, set 5.5. I mean, it was the same deal where it was just verticals, right? It was just straight verticals. But it was like the balance was better. You could play a lot more. You could like the units felt
I mean, the thing,
overall more balanced.
I feel like a lot of
better.
5.5 like straight
Like damage
verticals
control.
wasn't always the move. Like six Sentinel for Lucian a lot of time ended up being the move, but for the most part, the
Mhm.
boards ended up getting pretty flexible.
but
They did, yeah,
Draven
I
was
saw.
extra flex, for example.
Yes.
The other ones, Aphelios, the board was like you
I
could
think
play
Aphelios
around
is pretty
with
flexible,
Aphelios.
yeah.
It sort of kind of convened on the Revenant Aphelios.
Yeah. I honestly think the Cav one was really good. I like for Ranger with Cav, I think I was the only person on the server who really played it a lot towards the end, but I think that build was fucking crazy. Aphelios was one of my favorite units of all time as well. He was so fun. For cost Aphelios, he was such a cool guy. I would definitely go get some drinks with him. He was a homie. He was a homie.
Yeah, we had that one patch where I had to warn the entire server about Kale.
Yeah,
Came back with a
yeah.
You know, 80
Fucking
Kale.
Deathblade, Rageblade, Kale.
Because I was like going through streams and watching people lose with Kale too.
People thought she was so bad.
Items, and I was like, what are they doing, man?
No one realized you just build AD. You just
you
straight up build AD.
This is the thing, right? Kale was you play Kale one way for the entirety of set 5, right? You play her with a Rageblade and a GA.
Yeah, and you just let her scale, right?
And you let her scale, and you pray, and you're like, well, there's only 2 ways this fight can go.
Yeah.
Either I hit Ascension or I don't. And so, there's
either I live 20 seconds or I lose the game 10-0.
And it was like, they kept on buffing her and buffing her, mostly her AD ratio.
And her attack speed went up a ton as well.
So this is, eventually, because her damage was true damage scaled off of her AD, actually. So, by the time she was really strong, it was actually Rageblade, Deepblade. And I knew this because I just kept on trying random shit, and Rageblade, Deepblade, Kale was one of the random things that fucking slapped down a Vel'Koz 3, and I was like, holy shit, what in the fuck is this?
Because, with Rageblade, Deepblade, so, she'd ascend 4 times, right? And each ascension would give her a little bit more. In the past, in set 5, you needed to get to the last ascension before you did any damage, essentially. But they upped her base stats and her attack speed and her they just buffed her spell so much towards the beginning of the spell and nerfed the end of it that she ascended once, that true damage kicks in, and she does infinite damage. And she stacks. So Deathblade used to be that. For anyone who doesn't know, Deathblade used to be that once you kill a unit, you get 30 more AD or 20 more AD. I think it was 20 more AD. It started off with 20 or 30, and then you kill a unit, you keep stacking it. So she'd kill one unit, and she'd just get all this raw AD, and she'd get all raw attack speed from Rageblade, and she would just kill everything. She would just kill everything. It was disgusting. And she did AoE damage on the third. So you got the first ascension. Yeah, the first ascension was true damage. Second ascension was AoE. Third ascension, if the fight got that far, because she just blew people up. If you got to third ascension, she became invulnerable every 10th auto or something. Yeah. And then fourth ascension, you just lose.
Yeah, if you Kale, it doesn't matter what type of Kale you're playing. If she, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah. But Yeah, I guess there were some more like horizontal, more like it wasn't just like 6 Dawnbringer, 6 Nightbringer,
Like
six.
the
Yeah,
Vel'Koz wasn't really stacking redeemed or Spellweavers really. It was sort of like you
a
played a
bomb. Yeah,
bomb
yeah.
plus revs, right?
Hmm.
Akshan,
He was so good.
that guy was busted, and he was busted. That guy was busted.
I
He was like the one unit towards the end of the game where like you're up against a 3-star Lucian or like a 3-star Aphelios or a 3-star Bel'Koz or whatever. You're like,
yeah,
I have Akshan too.
I'm
I
chilling.
might be able to win this. I could possibly win this, and a lot of the times he actually did. That's the crazy.
Yeah, I think I with auction two on one I was playing I think 9 Sentinel auction two board, and I beat a board that was Vel'Koz 3 Fiddle 3
Yeah,
with my auction on that one,
yeah,
and
because the
it's like
Bel'Koz isn't
he
gonna
does so
reach him.
much.
Like
Yeah, he can. Yeah, yeah.
Bel'Koz or Fiddle, like neither of them can hit him because he's just fucking Tarzaning around the board. Can't be touched.
Yeah. He destroyed a bomb spell boards. If he was 2 star with like Deathblade Hernandez BT auction two, he he couldn't be touched. He
Yeah, there's
just killed
like
fucking everything.
honestly, I think there was only like one, like maybe Draven could deal with the option, like
Yeah,
towards the
because he'd
that was
swing
it.
in and just kill him.
Yeah.
Essentially, as in the Draven just he like Tarzan in and then Draven turn around
He's
just
like, hey, what's up?
yeah. I got 3 Ironclad, bitch. What you got? And then just boop. Yeah. There was a lot you could play though. Yeah, I guess it did get got very horizontal, right? Because like the Draven comps were generally like ironclad heavy, and then you could get into a couple of different builds, but it was never just like
Diana with
six
them. There's like
survive.
a lot of cool stuff you could do in set 5.5 that you just
Yep.
could not do in set 5 at all. Like at all.
Yeah. And now set six.
Oh, real quick before we go on to set 6, also we should talk about Udyr, greatest unit to ever be released in TFT. Alright.
Udyr's sick. Yeah.
Uh,
RFC, baby. Sheesh. That was Kevin's trademark. That was his trademark. You say it's his legacy.
This is my legacy.
A small part of his legacy. Unfortunately, Udyr did not make it to set six, but I mean, we don't talk about it too much because we're in the middle of it, right? And it's been only out for a small part of 2021, admittedly, 2 months, right? But I mean, I fucking love set six. I think the augment mechanic is super fun, super cool. It makes for some fun and interactive gameplay, unlike Shadow Blue Buff.
Yeah.
And the units are cool. I mean, I just love the set. The balance has been much better than other sets so far, for the most part. It really feels like they've knocked it out of the park.
I
This
just
set.
like that the 5 costs are cool. We
Oh yeah,
spent all of set 5 and 5.5 with these lousy 5 costs. Like
yeah.
Garen and Darius.
Fucking
okay, Garen
Darius.
was
What?
cool. Garen was cool as shit. Darius was
Uh,
doo doo.
Garen was like, okay, my take on Garen and Darius and Bear and like
Okay, fuck
they're
Volibear.
just circle champs, They ult in
Yeah,
a circle, and that's what they do, and they're circly circles.
I think Darius in set five had to be the single least like visually impressive unit, just hands down. Like
Yeah,
he would ult. He do this. I feel like he do this big animation, right? This. He's it's Darius. He fucking dunks people. He one shots people. He has all this AD skill. You're like, oh, this Darius. I'm gonna put a sword on him. He's gonna be so strong. He's like Darius too. Fuck yeah. He ults. These little bars come out and like nibble, and like he does no damage. And you're like, oh.
Yup.
sick.
Yeah, and then Garen's over there
Buggies.
like blowing up a whole board. And you're like,
I want that
I
one.
want that one. Yeah, I want that one.
Yeah,
Hey, but
it's
there's no
like,
5 costs like that in this set. Like this set has some sick fucking
Okay,
5
yeah, we
costs.
got some
My hot
dope
take
five
about the
costs.
5 costs that says like they're cool, but their designs are just so flawed from like a balance perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
we can talk
From
about
like
the
a
fact that
cool fun factor perspective, yes,
They're very
they
mobile.
achieve that. They are they are all cool. They are all fun to be playing.
Yeah, I mean,
But
it
there's
definitely
issues.
it takes some balancing. Like, I should not be able to join this Discord call AFK game with a Kai'Sa 1 sitting on a socialite hex, having her just ult boards and win rounds for me while I don't pay attention to the game. Some slight issues there. Or the fact that they have repeatedly nerfed Jinx after she's been garbage since PvE.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
with 5 costs right now, like half of them feel like Uction and that they can randomly just be really mobile in 1v10, and then Jinx just fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And
It's
Victor,
so
like Victor
bad.
is situationally amazing. Like he can be really good. Galio can be really good. Like Victor, I've been playing a lot of Arcanist boards this patch, right? And like I literally it's like quick 9 on 6 Arcanist. You hit a Victor, you win the game, more
Mhm.
or less, because he just blows everything up. But sometimes he'll miss, and you're like, huh?
What
Like
would you do?
yeah, I
And
spent
then you
15
have
gold on you, man.
Kai'Sa literally hits every unit on the board,
Yeah.
guaranteed.
I think there's auction syndrome on like half the 5 costs, and then the other 5 costs is Jinx. So there's 2 sets of outliers, and Jinx fucking blows, and the other ones are a little too strong. I think it's cool to have a 5 cost be as mobile as like Kali, Kaisa,
Yeah.
or as mobile as Tom. Mobile Kai.
Oh,
Pumpkin is
boy.
great. I love Pumpkin.
Yeah,
Okay.
but like Jace I think is really good as well. I think Jace is
They're
good.
all super cool.
Yeah,
I think Jace's design is both cool and super balanceable. So
I think he's balanced right now, personally. I
I do
think
too.
backline
Oh,
Jace is so fucking good, and frontline Jace
Yeah.
is pretty okay.
Jace is actually the highest win rate 5 cost.
He's so good.
He is,
He's
but
so
all
good.
the 5 costs are up there. Beside, just in case,
Okay,
I'm gonna check where Jinx is.
okay. Just imagine real quick. I'm gonna just imagine real quick if Jinx just stayed put.
Oh my gosh,
Like,
Jinx has a
imagine-
higher win rate than Victor and Galio.
There's no way.
That's
Okay, so she's in
incredible.
Urgot comps. You just
Yeah,
check
I
her.
mean,
Yeah,
it's
it's not because of Jinx.
Yeah.
It's because of fucking Urgot.
Okay,
Her
imagine.
highest
Yeah.
win rate item is a Kindex stat.
Yeah. Like imagine if Jinx just like she ulted, she let the rocket go, and she just wasn't riding it.
Yeah.
Like she'd be so much better.
She would be so much like if you didn't have to worry about it. That the problem is normally, right, if you have Jinx pop in, you're like, oh man, this lady's gonna kill everybody in the back line as long as she doesn't die. That's not what she does. She ults, she tickles them a little bit, and you're like, can you please kill something?
She
And
gets
then
stuck on the
like,
Scion too. She ults in and gets stuck on the Scion too. You don't have QSS. She just fucking dies. If you do have QSS and you're missing a damage item,
Yeah,
she
if
doesn't
you have
have
QSS, you don't have a GA, so she's gonna die anyway.
You need like QSS, GA,
Do you
and
play
then like
QSSGA 4 damage items. Oh, wait a second.
yeah, it's like
it's
yeah.
bad. But I think Jace is like the premier AD5. He's so fucking good in the back line. And
Yeah.
he uses so many items. I won a game with the other day with I beat a capped Jinx board at level 9 with my level 8 5 innovator backline blue buff GA QSS Jinx or Jace 2.
Yeah,
He was doing like
that'll do it.
20,000 damage around.
I mean, I'm pretty sure a Twitch 2 beats Jake's.
Yeah, Twitch 2 definitely beats. But I mean, I think like the units are close to being okay. I don't think.
I think they're,
And
like, the
Kaisa doesn't really
classic-
need a big nerf. I think she needs maybe a tiny nerf. I don't
I
think she's
think,
that
like,
broken.
It's just like a 1 cost thing, right? Like you should not be able to AFK with a 1 star 5 cost,
Yeah, agreed.
and just people sit there until you start, maybe losing rounds if you start losing.
Although I think I think the problem, and I don't think people can really do that much in this patch. I think people are just so open right now, at least open for it on NA, that like everyone tries over this 4-2 roll. Like half the lobby does, they all miss, and then like it feels like you can be stable on like all these 1-star 4. Like I think like Tom 1 a lot of time isn't enough. Like Kaisa 1 is enough if you have a GA and Umbrellas.
Oh,
But
Kaisa
there's some like if you just play a solid board. Like I won like a top 3 to game today because I just didn't sell my Malzahar.
Oh, yeah.
And he beat all the Kaisa boards that didn't have GA, and I beat all the Tom boards because I had an actual carry. So like people definitely are overstating how broken the 5 costs are right now, but some of them, like Kaisa is definitely a little overtuned for sure, and like Tom's probably a little overtuned. I think Akali is situationally overtuned, situationally kind of sucky, but overall the balance feels much better than previous sets.
Yeah. It's like I'm just glad that there's no mechanic right now where it feels like you can't play the game.
Yep.
You know, like there's no shadow blue buff. There's no blue buff Lee Sin, which we did talk about. By
There's
the
no
way.
Aatrox Sedge front line.
Yeah.
Although
There's
I
no
mean, there's
Diego.
Sion Galio.
my,
No-
my
no
minor
Diego.
Rom.
my
And that's
minor
bad, though.
gripe. This is my minor gripe. Blitzcrank, far left side, should not hook that little hex in second row. You know what I'm talking? I feel like everybody.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
Pocket,
about. I know what you're
yeah.
talking about.
That little pocket.
It's real annoying.
That's bullshit.
It's
I want
really
to stick my I want to stick my unit there so it doesn't get destroyed by sins. Let me do it.
fun.
Do you want to talk about competitive stuff? Though?
Yeah, we can talk
Yeah,
about competitive stuff. Yeah. We just start back at the beginning. Set 4. I mean,
What a
Kevin has a lot
time.
to say about this one.
Oh, I
So
do.
does
Yeah.
Jirachy.
Yeah. You know, Challenger Series was big back then. Had a lot going. I played my first one. That was like the first time I did anything competitively in TFT, and it was hype. I don't know. I forget. I think like DQA was playing in there. Goobums was in there. Hobos was in there.
I think I know. Wasn't Nico in that one too? Because I think
Yeah,
I know
Nico was in
exactly.
there.
Yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking
Monster
about.
was in there.
Oh God.
That's a sick lobby.
And I won out on like a Morgana 3. It was lit. It was actually
Nice.
crazy. But it was a fun time, I gotta say. And then yeah, at least in terms of my experience, there was that, and then there was just regionals, which was also a wild ride.
Regionals was insane. I mean, I think I don't think I participated in a Challenger series in Set 4. I don't know what my first one was. I think it was 4.5 maybe, or maybe it was just 5.
I think you was 5 for sure.
I think
Also,
it was, yeah. I think yeah. Mine was just the Nightbringer Cup and the Dawnbringer Cup. We can talk about 4 and 4.5 at the same time.
yeah.
Yeah, mine was those two. Like I said, one was Vayne Patch, one was Lux Patch, and I had very little fun. So that was my Set 4 experience. Personally, wasn't that great, but you two have very fond memories looking back at
Yeah,
Set 4.
because like both of us really came up during Set 4. Well, like RamKev a little more 4, me more like 4.5. But I remember like my first big thing was a Challenger series, and then the fucking last chance qualifier to get to regionals.
Mhm.
Oh,
Except my fucking favorite thing going into regionals was having to listen to everyone be like, last chance qualifier shouldn't be a thing. Like, all these players are garbage. Like, none of them belong there. I'm like, I've been top 10 the whole set, right? you know, I've been top 10 the whole set. I've just not I don't have the snapshot points to qualify for regionals off that. Like, this is fucking I was the perfect player that last chance qualifier was for. Like, good player who deserves to be at regionals that needed that specific avenue to get there. And fucking, there were a ton of players who were like, oh, no, this shouldn't be a thing. And then I go and outplace all of them.
yeah. I remember during that when the last chance qualifier was about to start, I thought I had to play in that because I had no idea. I made it off of Snapshot.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I was 22nd, and there was this Reddit post that was like, "Oh yeah, these are the people that have qualified based off snapshot points." And I took a look, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
That's right.
Oh, that's amazing.
I think I was the next person. I think that I'm pretty sure I was like.
I remember Curl.
Yeah, I remember that post. I remember that post. Yeah. I feel like I didn't play in the last chance qualifier because I was like, I'm just gonna either get in the Challenger series, or I mean, maybe did I play in the Challenger series? I thought I didn't play in the last chance qualifier. I'm pretty sure I didn't. I don't know. I remember that Reddit post though. I was like, maybe I'll get through, maybe more. And then I remember that. Oh, I did play. Apparently, I did play. Okay, it was one of another one that I didn't do well on. The Set 4 was not great for me tournament wise. It was like I definitely come into my own because Set 4 was not historically 4 and in Set 5 as well because of in Set 5 was Nightbringer Cup and that was so I said Nightbringer Cup and Dawnbringer Cup for Set 4. That I totally got messed up. Okay, I
Yeah.
did play in that. Yeah.
Dawnbringer and Nightbringer,
Basically,
two famously
yeah.
set 4 traits.
Yeah, set 4 and set 5, my tournament series were not very good. Yeah. I mean,
Okay,
I
fair.
blame set 5 on the patches. Set 4, I think I was just bad at the game.
I mean,
But
makes sense. But no, you'll get there. But set 4 regionals was a fucking time.
Oh
Back
yeah,
then.
it was kind of nuts. I remember like, okay, this is my experience with set 4 regionals, right? I played the hardest game that I've ever played. It's kind of like the beginning of set 5 regionals, actually, where like the first game was absolutely like the hardest. I had to like claw my ass off to get like a 5th, and then I got the 5th, and I was like, this was in set 4 regionals. After I got that 5th, I was like, wait, like this is actually too free. And then it was like really free. Cause like I think it was like an exceptionally low roll game, and I pulled out a 5th, and I was like, wait, if I can pull off a 5th in this game, then all of the other games are like free as hell. And all 3 days, I was
king
like,
shit.
I'm pretty sure I was in top 8, at least, if not top 5, top 8 placements for all 3 days. Well, I guess how many days was it? 4 days. It
Yeah.
was 4 days long, right? It was a big turn. There were 32 players in that.
It was fucking huge.
Mm.
See, me was the exact opposite because I qualified. I think I qualified for day 2 as like the 23rd out of 24. Then qualified for day 3 as like 15th out of 16.
Oh snap!
It was always like me barely squeaking in. Which is what it is. But
It is what it is,
no.
indeed.
I think I had the hardest game, like my hardest tournament game that series too. It was day 1. I literally just looked this up. It was day 1, game 4. I got forced into either belt or tier start, and I just kept getting dropped belts. It was just belts, cloaks, and tiers, and that was all
It's
I
a
was
ripping
getting.
game.
Not an offensive,
game.
not a good offensive item in sight. And this was when like blue buff wasn't an item, so it's
And
just
you
like
can't play Shiv.
my 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 items at Krugs were like Redemption, Warmock. Let me find this. I want to find the exact items because it was that fucking garbage. It was Warmog's Redemption, Frozen Heart, and then a
God.
belt vest after stage 3 carousel.
Velvet.
Like, how do I play the fucking game?
Yeah.
But I got a top 2 out of that anyway.
Oh God,
And-
hell yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm like that's one of like one of the hardest and I think proudest games I'll ever have. So
I am. Yeah, those
My-
games feel great.
and it was
Especially
on
tournament.
stream, and I've talked to Doe about this, and he and I like will like occasionally bring it up again. Like that was the game that like put me on his radar. So
Yeah.
Set 4 wasn't like my favorite gameplay wise, but it does have a special place in my heart for like where it got me started competitively. I'll say that.
I just remember
And
like,
then
oh yeah. What were you
I was
gonna
gonna say, and then Kevin went to Worlds.
When Kevin went to fucking Worlds. Worlds was fucking wild to watch.
It's a
It was so good.
fun time. I just remember because like I was out of the 4 players that went to Worlds,
People were sleeping. People were sleeping
nobody
hard.
knew, and it pissed me off. Like I
Didn't-
was so fucked. They released this article of this interview that they did with Kurt. This is the first time I've been mentioned in any form of TFT media. You know what the headline of the article is? I can actually bring it up. Let me see if I can
Oh
find it.
no.
Oh god.
Oh no.
And
This is not gonna
this
be
wasn't
good.
me being pissed at Kurum because I like read the article. This was not the emphasis of the article, but they titled the article, "There is no arguing against RamKev as a top player, but I think there are players stronger than him." This is just the start of the article. And I saw that shit and I cannot tell you like how pissed I was.
Yeah,
like-
well, yeah, rightfully so.
This was a Kurum X interview, and this was the title of the interview, and I was like, "Oh
That's
my
fucked up.
god, bro!" And like,
Trying to start. The people are trying to start shit, huh?
yeah, people are actually trying to start shit. Like,
Drama.
People were
And
egoing on you so hard, even like for all us at 4.5. Like, oh, this
Wasn't
RamKev
Price was a
guy's
little
not that
good.
good because he's never hit rank 1.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
right.
this is the thing is like people will wonder like why like I think rank 1 is fake. And it's not because like hitting rank 1 doesn't take a lot of skill, but it's like you don't have to hit rank 1 to prove anything, you know? Like if you know you're good, you're good. That's all there is to it.
King
And
shit.
like I was mad pissed going into that. Well, I wasn't pissed going into Worlds. I was more so I'm just gonna play TFT, whatever.
And you
And
played
then
some
you
TFT.
and then you got third at Worlds, and
You played.
people are definitely still egoing on you.
It was kind of crazy. I gotta, because like the thing I already mentioned the Kale thing, and because of the Kale thing, I was like, I'm probably gonna place the best out of any of the NA players, which is what ended up happening.
Hmm.
And
I wonder why. Maybe it's because this RamKev guy can like flex literally anything and will play fucking Elderwood. What was the one TF game in scrims?
oh my goodness, I played Elderwood, Dragon Souls, Fat TF.
Did you get 7th that game or something?
I did not do well.
No,
I
like
did
no.
not do
The
okay.
point is that you didn't get 8th, which is an accomplishment in and of itself.
Yeah. I was being Jilly.
Yeah. Well, Step for Worlds also from like a spectator experience was fucking insane to watch. Because also fucking Raza was there and like just
Yeah,
fucking tearing it up for
great.
OCE.
And
I
think
swear, Set 4 Worlds was the fucking tourney of like players just that got egoed on just popping the fuck off.
Yeah, everyone ate their own words that tournament.
And I
Yeah.
think like at least from my perspective, I feel like Set 4 Worlds was like in terms of like a competitive tournament, that was like the pinnacle of like flex play. Cuz the players that did the best were the ones that had the most knowledge about all of the comps of the game.
Mhm.
So like if you like relied on one comp, if that comp was your crutch, you were not gonna do well. And it really showed. I think like the fact that jaywalking was the one that won. Like the reason why jaywalking won is because they could make a win streak board out of any board, right? Not just like something that you're comfortable with. And like, I feel like being comfortable with a comp in TFT is kind of bullshit. Cause like, well, it's not bullshit, but like if you like really, really understand every comp, it's inherently just gonna have, or it should have a, more of an advantage in my opinion. Um, not because like I think, especially with the chosen mechanic, if you're flexible and you're fluid and you know when to pick up the proper thing at the proper time, you're gonna get way more of an advantage than somebody who's gonna skip that chosen and be like,
Mhm.
I don't really want to play this because I'm not used to playing it. Like, and for whenever the sets are really, or whenever the patches are really balanced, I think that it really doesn't benefit people that say I'm not gonna play this because I'm not familiar with it. You lose out on so much value, and it really showed during that tournament, right? Because like there were no one tricks, nobody was trying to play a single comp, and if they were, they were already out in first day. Uh, and like by the end, by the end there were a lot of people playing Fortune. That was the one thing, but Fortune isn't really a comp per se.
The
More so
mindset.
like more so like a mindset. Yeah, but like you still have to know how to play off of Fortune, right? Because like there's AP, AD. You can't stick on the Fortune units like you can in like Draconic, for example, or with, at a certain point, Mercenaries was kind of like this too, where you could just keep on playing mercenary units after you cash out, especially when Mercenaries are strong. Right now it's less so, but with Fortune it was really like I cashed out, everything on my board has to go. It's all out. Um but yeah. it was a great time. I think I played like a different comp every single game, and then last game I had the opportunity to play Yasuo reroll, and it was like I could taste the Yasuo reroll, and I had to tell myself, "Don't do it, Kevin. This is the last game of Worlds. You could potentially go first." And I pivoted, and I tried to play Talon, and it was one Talon off of Talon 3, and it would have won me the lobby. And then 8 lanes won. It was real sad.
Moj.
Mo-
I'm mad. God, I wish you had that talent so much. Not as much as you wish you did, but that's
yeah.
that's crazy. And then I feel like set five was so. I mean, set five was fine. It's fun. I mean, I played in some challenger series for the first time. I did well in those. I was like, I think personally, set five was where I first started doing well in tournaments. But
Yeah.
overall, set five, I feel like tournament wise was less exciting. I don't know
I
if
think
people agree with that.
also it kind of got fucked by COVID in
Yeah,
a way,
that's true.
especially because they were not really by COVID, but more so the fact that they were planning on going to China. And
Yeah,
that really did
the
a
season got
lot of
weird.
bad for like
Yeah,
tournaments, right? Because one, you couldn't have as many qualifiers, you couldn't have as many players qualifying. You know, we went from a 32 player regionals to a 16 player regional, and like how much was it? 14 out of the 16 were off of ladder or something, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which is like,
It's
I
like
mean,
It
really.
was. I think it was 12.
As
It was 12 out of 16. It was
12
12
out of
from
16?
10 from set 5 ladder, 2 from 5.5, and 4 from mid set.
Right,
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah, and if you really think about that, it's like, it's unfortunate that it ended out happening that way, especially since it didn't even end up that Worlds was in China. It was
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
still
think
online.
I think the biggest one of the worst effects of that was the so in 5.5 there was a push for everyone pushed for or not I guess not everyone, a lot of the top players pushed to be one of the top two slots because one of the top two slots in 5, there were two slots in 5.5 that you could get to get to regionals, and the snapshot for that those two slots were like what, the first week, first
Oh
2 weeks,
yeah,
that
it
was the
was
first week.
1 week. You had a
Yeah,
1
so
week.
everyone was fucking everyone was just like going ham and cheese. I remember I actually hit challenger first that during that whole thing. Um and I was like, "Oh, I hit challenger first. I got a lead in everyone. I'll take a break." I went to a smash tournament. I chilled a little bit the next day. Came back. I had no idea how to play the game anymore. People were just like so many games being played and the meta was progressing so quickly. Like you took a break, you were done. It was crazy.
Hmm.
It was absolutely insane, and like obviously it was terrible for people's sleep schedules. It was just fucking. It was
Yep.
gross. It
That was
was
a bad
gross.
time.
I
I
think
hope they
like
never do it again.
Yeah.
the kind of side effect of them trying to have worlds in China and them trying to figure out who was going so much sooner to like give time for like sorting out visas and quarantining and all that stuff. Um there was so much, like the qualifying was off of set 5 mostly. It was 14 out of 16 from set 5 for a set 5.5 tournament. So like players that were good in set 5 but really good in set 5.5 for the most part couldn't do shit aside from like RamKev and Soju,
Yeah.
the two people who got the snapshot spot. And like I think the name everyone's going to bring up of who should have been at regionals who wasn't, because he was so fucking good in 5.5 and was good but not quite good enough in set
Yeah.
5, is Ramblin'.
That was
And
a tragedy.
I think like Ramblin' is having like a meteoric rise right now, deservedly, fucking fully deservedly so. Like none of
Finally.
what I'm saying is because like Ramblin' doesn't deserve the success he's getting now, because he's fucking insane. And like it's been a kind of a long time coming now, but it could have started in set 5.5.
Yeah,
And
the whole
it got
qualification system
delayed a
was
half set because he didn't really have a good shot at regionals. He missed the set 5.5 snapshot first week of the set, and he's just done.
Yep.
yep.
You don't get that one, it's over.
Yep.
I just
It was
like
so bad.
that was like a you know how I was actually really close to not making it actually on last day. I think I took like 1/8, and I looked because Ramblin was actually ahead of me when I took that. Like after I took that eighth, randoms was ahead of me, and there were like maybe I want to say like 12 or so games that could be played from that point on to the end of the day, and I was like, I just gotta go. And then I banged out like 4 firsts in a row. And one of those firsts, there
That's
was this
insane.
like, there's this guy in the lobby I was playing Yasuo reroll. And there's this guy in the lobby actually. I found out later that they were in Ramlin's chat and they were like, I'm in RamKev's game, I'm gonna grief him.
Which is
That's
another
fucked up.
that's another issue of the whole like 1 week snapshot thing is like you can it's I th- we had a we had a whole like cast going of Raditz' final push for the
Yeah.
snapshot spot. It was like I think Ramkev you were in that, but it was like
Yeah.
it was us, Bryce, and Mort. And and Frodan?
Yeah, Frodan was there, I think.
It was
Yeah,
I think
because it was on
it was
Frodan's channel, right?
yeah, I think it was the 5 of us.
Mm-hmm.
But like someone, it might have been Bryce that made a comment that was like, "This is just like a giant tournament for 2 spots." But here's the thing: it's a
You don't play
giant
the same
tournament,
one.
but not everyone in the game is actually competing in that tournament.
and
So
that's
it's
the other thing.
like other people, and especially because we all know each other in this community, like and in this high volume of games, you're gonna run into someone inevitably who's like a fan of another player, sees this race happening, is like, I want my favorite streamer to get there. A competing streamer is in here. I'm gonna grief them.
Yeah.
So
Fortunately, that game, the grief
Yeah.
for Donkey rolled on 6, hit Yasuo 3, died. I waited for them to die, and then I hit Yasuo 3 right afterwards.
Yeah.
It was fantastic, but
Out
so
of
fucked up.
I think Set 5's competitive system, at least in NA, took a lot of really good steps. Having a whole more structured process for the qualification spots off of like Dawnbringer and Nightbringer. Like I wish those tournaments had money attached. The Set 6 equivalents do now, thank God.
oh yeah.
But like that whole process, there were a lot of good things and a lot of good advancements that happened from Set 5. One of them that should never come back is that Set 5.5 snapshot system of this 1 week mad rush. Like, no, absolutely not.
It's
Never bring that
healthy,
back.
And the issue is, if you're not, I was lucky because I was actually able to play that entire week because I had gotten all of my research work done. If I had classes or anything like that, not happening. It can't happen. And like,
You have to just dedicate a week of your life to it.
yeah, and like with TFT, it's not like there's any money attached to that, right? Like, you get the top 2 spots. What do you get? Well, I get to play in qualifiers.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
If they had attached money to that in some form, like okay, or something similar to like the race to masters
thing that
like
happens.
race to masters, race to challengers stuff, where like some organization will like put up money, which I'm glad, and to some level I'm kind of glad that's not a thing anymore, because especially like when Common.gg tried to do Set 5.0 race to challenger, it was so long and drawn out.
It was like a week of just people.
Yeah,
fucking.
It
wasn't
was
multiple weeks. It was just people weren't sleeping, and it was like, it was crazy.
But
Total race
it's
challenger.
those kinds of races just. I mean, if you want to opt into that, sure, like for the fun of it. But when you're forcing people to be unhealthy and restricting access to these kinds of slots because in order to reach that point, you have to sacrifice so much. If you're working any other kind of job or you're in school, good fucking luck. Or if you're the other issue and having a big emphasis on like early set. If that was like every slot, then absolutely the fuck not.
The thing.
I looked at that Set 5.5. I looked
at
at that snapshot thing and I was like, that's not happening. I'm not even gonna try because I'm not that great at early set, and it's straight up. I also like can't go back to that like degen sleep schedule.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Especially
on the
like early set is also unbalanced. So if you
Yep.
get, I mean, I think Soju and I were actually like two two of the most flexible players during that period of time when we were all racing. But like if it were, for example, set set 4.5, for example, and they were doing the same exact thing, and
Baby.
Coralie gets in spamming open Fort Rakan. Does that really make too much sense? I mean, good for, I think Coralie's female gender,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So good for her. But come time for regionals, is that do you really want somebody who was
Okay,
like,
more open Fort Recon.
yeah, more open Fort Rakan? It's been nerfed 4 times. Let's go. It's time.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yep. I yeah, I mean I think looking at how set 5 went, it was definitely a that there were steps taken forward and backwards I think from step 4 competitively, and a lot of that was also due to the fact that they were trying to do Worlds in China and make it this big thing in person, but it just couldn't happen because of COVID, and a lot of that got messed up. But I mean, this set we'll talk about a little bit of set 6 because it's just starting competitively. We've had one tournament so far. We have the format. The format looks great. It's mostly off tournament performance now. There's much fewer ladder spots. So it's all about like challenger series performances, mid set performance. You get rewarded now for being consistent in tournaments and not just winning them. So you get like qualifier points. There's all kinds of ways to qualify through these big tournaments, and it's so much better.
I think they are nailing it with like at least how you get in through tournaments, because there's like you said, it does reward different ways of performing well in tournaments. It's if it was just off the winners of each group on the last day and or like top 2 or whatever, then off these tournaments goes to mid set, then it's just rewarding just rewarding having one good performance, and if you lock into one good performance and you're in just off that, and that's all the slots, like that's just not it. But also being able to show you're a consistent tourney player and get in off that, having these like multiple routes through tourney, not just being like, oh, like you did well in the tourney, you're good.
Yep.
And at least so far off the small sample size, like the names that are in mid set so far, it's like go down like, so it's Ramblin', Pickle, Pawn Up, and who's the last one?
Hockey, I think, right?
Pocky.
Yeah, Pocky.
Ramblin' and
All
Pocky
well-known great players.
make complete sense. Pawn Up, people don't know him as much, but like I think that makes sense. Pickle is the quote unquote questionable one, but he also played well in Piltover and deserves to be there. I'm not saying that as like I'm trying to shit on Pickle. It's just like, okay, he's a good player who had a good turning performance. Okay, he's supposed to be there. But if we'll see how like Zon Cup goes. And
Which is in 2
what happens
weeks.
there.
That's
Also
3
in
weeks.
2
Oh my
weeks.
gosh.
I think it's 3 weeks actually, right? Because the next
Something
this
like
coming weekend
that.
is Challenger Series. I think it's not the weekend
Yeah.
after that, but the weekend after that.
Yeah. And
yeah.
also having Challenger Series, having that same route of like, okay, this top tournament, oh, you do well in that. And even in set 5, all the Challenger Series winners, like, to some extent, Challenger Series also requires like lucking into that win a little bit. I mean, winning any TFT tourney does to some extent require like lucking into it, alongside playing well. But every set 5 Challenger Series qualifier to regionals made complete sense to be there. It was Pocky, Spencer, Goobums, and Kivix. Like, you're really telling me any of those 4 don't deserve to be there?
Yeah. Challenger Series are a great way to increase.
That was to mid set. No, that was to mid set.
That was mid set, but
That wasn't
again,
that wasn't directly to regionals. But it also does. It's telling that three of those went to regionals.
Yep.
Indeed.
It's a great way to get more people to make it more consistent. Because you pull a pool of top players who are probably going to qualify anyways, but it just makes it more like streamlined. I guess it's nice. I'm looking forward to the whole set.
Same, for sure. Especially like potentially casting it.
Mhm.
I don't remember if I hinted at this last week, but I'm casting more the rest of the set. So I'm no leaks of what I'm casting, because like I'm not gonna announce anything until like Giant Slayer announces what I'm involved in. I feel comfy saying I'm involved in more. So it's gonna be a great time to watch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like with the Piltover Cup, I'm almost so I ran it down the week. So apparently I'm sitting on ladder right now because I'm rank 6 and I need top 16 to get into the Challenger Series, and I don't want to run it down because I always run it down before deadline because there's a deadline this coming Wednesday. There's a snapshot this Wednesday to see who gets in it. So I'm always running it down before snapshot. So I'm actually just sitting for once. But uh before the Piltover Cup, I ran it down. I was like ranked like 20 something, and I ran it down, and I didn't get an invite to the second day. I had to play the first day, and I fucking because of that I grinded my ass off. I literally watched like 12 hours of TFT a day. Like tournaments clicked for me. No cap, tournaments clicked for me, and I popped off. And I have not played as good TFT in my fucking life. Sent it up to that point. I think it like really like that was when like TFT became not just fun but like super fucking fun for me. And now I don't know. I'm just excited for this tournament season. I feel like tournaments finally clicked for me a little bit, maybe a lot of it, and I don't know. I'm playing well. I'm excited. I'm excited to see how I do.
Well, we'll see how Challenger Series goes.
Oh yeah.
Which reminds me, I think I need like a couple hundred more LP.
Which
Where am I?
Yeah. I think I think the top 20 are probably good, Kevin, for it. Because I know people are not going to be. Uh, oh, DQA rated us. Pog. Thank you, DQA.
oh shit.
Okay.
But yeah, I think the tournament series, like all the tournament series, the Challenger Series, Zon Cup, it's all gonna be really fun to watch. I think there are a lot of new up and coming players who are just starting to like really find their spot in tournaments. There are a lot of veterans. It's funny because I feel like I'm not one of the up and comers that have started to find their spot. Kevin's one of the veterans, and Jirachy's now a caster. So we have so many different perspectives on the podcast for
really
tournaments. It's so
do.
fucking cool. It's
Although,
really cool.
I think what's super interesting this says like they're like the old guard that's like really fucking coming back. Like there's a ton of people who are like coming back now who are like older names that are just popping off again. Like Solus was basically non-existent at 5, comes back and is just okay. He's just good again. Yeah, sure. DQA wasn't doing much at 5. He's popping off again. Non-Tom came back. Non-Tom didn't exist.
So good.
Non-Tom did not
so
exist at 5, and he comes
Yeah.
back and is just murdering ladder.
Has Kiting been playing?
Kiting came back. He hasn't been like
Is he playing right
murdering
now,
ladder.
or
He's been doing pretty good. Yeah, I think he's is still playing. I'm not 100% sure.
I haven't seen him recently. He's not in.
Yeah, he's been
games.
I haven't played a game with him in a long time. But regardless, there's just so many people. There's so many that like this set. Not only is it so fun, but there's so many like there's tournament veterans, like just game veterans, newcomers. So many people like now getting into TFT that have never played TFT before. So competitively, like from a spectator position and caster position now as well, we have Jirachy coming in on the caster side of things. Uh, like spectator competitors, casters. There's just so much. To look forward
Pokimane
to.
is streaming TFT now.
Oh my god!
Isn't that
TFT,
crazy?
I think TFT from both a casual and a competitive side is popping the fuck off right now, and
It's
I think
insane right now. Yeah,
on the casual side, like you have people like Pokey who's just started streaming TFT and is bringing those kinds of numbers to the audience. Some of the streamers that are coming back, like the whole like offline, well not offline TV.
Toast has been playing a little bit, right?
Toast has been playing some. Scar's been kind of playing the whole time. Hafu coming back, I think, is the big one.
That's crazy. Yeah,
sticks out in my mind because she hasn't played since set 1. Like
she played set 2,
or she played some set 2, but she really popped off in set 1, played some set 2, and then just dipped. Her coming back is like, and because she's a really good player, that if she gets back to her set 1 level, comparatively, she could compete theoretically. So like the numbers that are coming in, Soju also now pulling in like 20k when he was hovering around like
some crazy.
He is a like top 10 streamer on Twitch consistently. Not like in TFT on Twitch.
Just consistently, yeah, that's crazy.
It's insane. Like the viewership is insane, and also on the competitive level, the breadth of talent we're getting now is just nuts. There's so many players I think can pop off in tourney that or can do well. That it's not like set 5 where it felt like when we were thinking. I think we had. It might have been just me or maybe talking to y'all, but like thinking about regionals being beyond just 16 players. Like who else? If we're gonna expand it to 24. Who else should be there? Like, me, Appies, Ramblin', DQA, and that's like all you can really make an argument for that set. Like you could, and like me and Appies for that set were maybe pushing it, and even DQA a little. Like really, there were 17 players who should have been at regionals, but now like you fast forward to this set, 24 players might be a little too few.
There's so many people who
compared to the breadth of talent we have. But I think 24 is going to be a good number for regionals. I don't think we need to go beyond that number. So everyone who makes it there will deserve to be there fully.
Yep.
But there are so many names who can get there and do well, and it's really exciting.
The storylines are going to be crazy. Essentially,
me flipping into caster mode, by the way.
In summary, 2021, from beginning to end here, we've seen TFT start to really fucking like blossom as a as an esport, as a casual game, like as people coming to the scene, and particularly competitively, like casually and competitively, there's so much to look forward to. I mean, 6.5 is gonna be sick. We have Silco coming, TFT exclusive champion, if you look at where
that league.
Yeah, right. Look at set 4, set 5. I think beginning of set 5 in particular, not like it was looking super bleak, but like the game wasn't. It was like set 5 in particular. Beginning of set 5, you're like competitively, casually. It's just what's going on here. And now set 6 is there's been so much love and effort poured into it, both like set wise as well as with the competitive circuit, and it really shows. And there's so much to look forward to. So. I think we can definitely all go into the new year really, really happy with what's to come, what's on the horizon. I know I am. I'm excited as fuck.
It's gonna be a good set, especially competitively. I think I've been saying I think TFT I don't think it's going to be we're never gonna be as big as League or Valorant or CS:GO. Like, let's be honest with ourselves. But I think we can match peak Hearthstone, and I think we're going in that direction, and I think this set might be the set we hit that.
There's so much to look forward to.
Yeah.
We are running out of time here. We can answer one question. There is actually one in chat right now, Pog. So someone wants to know, what do you think about low viewership on competitive's main channel, making it hard to garner sponsorships? I think Jirachy's probably the most qualified to answer this.
It is hard because then it's iffy, because also the problem with TFT esports is that for the main channel, it is really hard to it's hard to make a storyline coming from like a caster perspective, because you do have 8 players you're watching, so it's hard to it is so hard to create a through line for an entire game or an entire series, especially when you're hopping between lobbies. It's so hard for a TFT broadcast to create this like big overarching storyline to follow, and it's a lot of players, also a lot of watchers, a lot of viewers, excuse me, are there to really for one person, and if it's one lobby, there's a 1 in 8 chance that the broadcast will be watching them in some form, and when other players can stream, they'll just go to that streamer. So, and I get why we have that issue. I don't have an easy solution. The one that's in my mind is put the sponsorships, and any sponsors you have, we've been doing this, like putting them on the overlay that we give to the streamers.
That seems like a solution, right? You just make the
But as far as this is what the sponsors themselves can do, but if sponsors are trying to just look at numbers on the mainstream, it's hard. You basically have, in order to get the numbers that sponsorships are looking for, you'd have to basically tell the streamers, you cannot stream during this tourney. You give us a feed, but you cannot stream to your channel at all. You can. So, and then that funnels the viewers all into the main channel. But then the problem becomes, viewers are not going to be happy with the main channel if they can't watch what their streamer is doing.
Yeah,
because that is what they did for
set 5 Worlds. They did that,
both Worlds they did both.
Yeah, and it was not, and I'll be honest, it was not the greatest viewing experience because I could not pick who I wanted to watch. Like, oh, I want to watch Set 4 Worlds. I'm basically Team OCE at that point. I want to watch Raza. What's Raza up to? How's he doing? I don't know unless the broadcast goes over to him. So having I think like Overwatch League has done this and LCS has done it too, of having like some kind of like pro view mode.
Yeah,
and I think for TFT it should be free to access. Of you go there, you have or like some kind of spectator mode in the game. And I know like CSGO and Dota have both done this. You can go into the game, you have control over who you're watching, but there's an audio of the main broadcast going on. So you listen to the casters while watching whoever you want. As long as you can gather those numbers, then you have something you can very easily go to sponsors about, like, hey, these are the numbers all together of who's watching, rather than just a bunch of numbers compiled from all the individual streamers. You direct all the people to some kind of pro view or some kind of spectator client in game with the main broadcast pumping into the ear, or that combined with like the main Twitch viewership. You can combine those forms of who is watching the cast in some form rather than who's watching the individual streamers. And if you can funnel in that way while still giving the viewers the option to watch who they want, then you can get a better idea of the actual numbers and send that to sponsors and say, this is what our numbers look like.
Oh yeah.
I'm very much aware of like, hey, I have my caster mode going. As soon as I come out, I was like, oh, hey, I was in caster mode for a second. Hey, but yeah, some kind of integration. Yeah. Also,
yeah. Well, I think that sums up anything any of us could have said.
You can tell exactly why I swapped over the casting. By the way,
well, chat, viewers, listeners, I think that's probably gonna wrap it up for our last episode here in 2021. Beyond just TFT and looking forward to what's gonna happen in 2021, look forward to what's gonna happen on the podcast. We're gonna keep growing, keep getting better, doing what we do. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify. Can you follow on Spotify? How does that work? I don't use Spotify.
I have no idea, and I've been using Spotify for a hot minute.
Yeah, you can follow.
You
can follow us on Spotify. Yes,
fantastic.
Yeah. Look forward to the content to come. There's gonna be a lot of it, and have a great New Year.
Peace.
Oh yeah. 07. Peace. Kiss a homie.